Greetings, Doom fans, and welcome to another edition of the Frostbite Falls Daily Rant, here on the Doomstead Diner. This week, I don't have any particular topic to address in detail, so once again, I will just riff on the latest in Doom news, making its way out over packets of digibits to my laptop here on the last great frontier. The big news of the week for the Doomstead Diner was the publication of results from the Doomer Personality Survey. Unsurprisingly, most Doomers haunting the collapsed blogosphere are white males from North America. Females appear to be around 18% or so of the Doom community. Doomers also appear to be pretty well-educated folks, most holding at least a baccalaureate degree, and according to the online free IQ test, are also astoundingly intelligent people, with an average IQ coming in over 130. A hugely disproportionate number of Doomers are geniuses with an IQ over 150 also. The results from 2 weeks of data collection are up on the Diner, but the survey is still open, so if you want to contribute your numbers for the next data compilation, you can still do that. Okay, now on to other Doom news from around the net, starting with the MSM via the Google News aggregation site. I mostly do not actually read these articles, just the headlines. Okay. Ohio voters just rejected legalizing marijuana, and Houston voters rejected a broad anti-discrimination bill. I am crossing Ohio and Houston off my list of decent places left to live anymore. After 66 years, the big shots in China and Taiwan are meeting with each other. The Taiwanese, of course, have been under the protection and economic system of the Western banking system since mainland China went communist, and generally did better than them over the time period. However, now with all the action happening in the South China Sea, and the prospect of a possible hot war between the Chinese and the fascist states of America, obviously the Taiwanese are looking at who might be the better one to line up with here. Given that Taiwan is a stone's throw from the mainland, it probably would be a good idea for them to line up with the rest of the Chinese. However, the ASEAN chiefs have now canceled the meeting to discuss South China Sea issues, so this theater is still up in the air as to which way it all goes before all the hardware is at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker. The crash of the Rusky jet, with something like 224 all-now-dead people aboard, continues to get significant play in the headlines. But after briefly actually scanning this article from NBC News, although they seem to be focused on the idea it was bomb installed on the plane before takeoff, they still really got no clue on this one. On the grand scale, this really is not a big deal, except for the people on the plane who bought their tickets to the great beyond and their relatives in Mother Russia. Unless, first off, it is true that ISIS-type terrorists planned and executed the downing of the jet, and second off, that they can pull off such stunts regularly. If they only down one plane load of tourists a year, business as usual can probably continue onward here for a while. When you start getting another commercial airline jet being knocked down every month, then you'll start to have a real problem. As of yet, ISIS has not demonstrated the ability to knock down jets on such a regular basis or collapse skyscrapers so often either. According to a headline 6 hours old now from USA Today, more than 36 people have become sickened by E. coli poisoning in their Chipotle. What is new about that? Everybody knows Mexican food gives you diarrhea. No claim from the headline that anybody died yet from this Chipotle poisoning either. How is this news if there are no dead people? In the business news today, Tesla Motors, run by genius Elon Musk, has managed to lose $19,810 for every EV car they have so far sold. This is a world record for losing money by any automobile company to date, including GM and DeLorean. Because Elon is so successful with losing money in the auto industry, investors will likely float him another $50 billion or so in the aerospace industry to lose firing rockets into low Earth orbit, at least when they don't crash. Elon can compete with Sir Richard Branson on how many test pilots they can kill before the credit card runs out. I will spare the listeners here the news about whether Twitter should care about its core users or not, and whether you will be able to 3D print up a new car the next time you get in a fender bender in the Walmart parking lot. Read this shit on your own time. Now, on to the collapsed blogosphere and the financial news from Zero Hedge. Gold, bitches! Buy the fucking dip! Tyler Durden, one of them anyhow, actually got something really good up today. An interactive infographic depicting the migration pattern out of MENA and streaming into Europe. at least for so long as the Europeans keep accepting this human tsunami, which probably will not be much longer. And precisely how many of the refugees currently on the run in the Balkans will make it through the winter in tents with just the clothes on their backs is an open question. Absolutely nobody in power has clue one about what to do about this problem, and nobody will even admit to the underlying cause of the problem: population overshoot and resource depletion. It's pretty hard to solve a problem if you don't even recognize what the problem actually is. According to Zero also, bitcoins are soaring in value because now the rich Chinese have some better access to dropping their dropping in value yuan into this dog shit while they plan their escape to Oz. Hopefully, before the Chinese Politburo Central Committee catches them and strings them up by their gonads. With luck, said Chinese pigmen will make it to Oz before the lights go out there, and they can't get any of their bitcoins off their laptops to buy some Aussie baby lamb chops. Talk about diluted nonsense and bubbles. This whole Bitcoin thing is completely nuts. This is really scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of trying to make some kind of monetary system work, when the real problem is not the monetary system at all, but rather depleting resources and population overshoot, as I said before. I don't give a shit what you want to call money. If the food is not on the shelves at Safeway, you are shit out of luck here. News also from Zero is that middle-aged white folks are an endangered species in America and now are committing suicide by the truckload. This, of course, flies in the face of the other regular meme you get on Zero and other right-wing capitalista sites like the Burning Platform, that boomers are living the high life while everybody else is starving. What a bunch of stupid nonsense. Over the last 30 years, most boomers have barely been treading water and going into ever deeper debt, whilst their own government was doing the same thing. A few did manage to scarf up enough of the debt money to live the good life in retirement on the golf courses of the soon-to-be-flooded Florida, but for the most part, boomers are as fucked as everybody else is here. When the pension funds and Social Security fail, they will be in worse shape than the Gen Xers, who at least may still be able-bodied if they aren't too fat, from living off fast food from Mickey D's their entire lives. Moving over now to my favorite socialist website, news aggregator, Global Research, out of the Great White North, and regularly featuring a lefty spin from everyone from Paul Craig Roberts to Michael Chusodowski to F. William Engdahl, I find out, as usual, that the CIA has been engaged in nefarious activities for the last 30 years. I am shocked and appalled by this news. Seriously, if you are not aware by now that the so-called security apparatus of the fascist states of America has been engaged in this sort of shit non-stop since at least World War I, you are just out to lunch. However, specifically for today, Global Research headlines tell me first that Obama-sama and his neocon backers are ready to go to battle with the Chinese over the Spratly Islands the Chinese are building on top of reefs, which are so barely above sea level it's probably no more than a decade before they are right back underwater again. Fiji, Vanuatu, all the low-lying islands in the Pacific are already going under. The Chinese are investing a fortune to get these islands slightly above sea level so they can lay down airstrips and fuel depots. But the lifespan here for said islands is less than a crippled internet junkie from the last great frontier, namely me. The only thing stupider than the Chinese building these islands are the neocons strutting their stuff and trying to intimidate the Chinese. Talk about a stupid waste of money on both sides. Yeesh. Moving down the socialist page agenda, I also find out that socialists would like to put Tony Blair on trial for war crimes. That's not a bad idea either. And we got more than a few here on this side of the pond who also need to stand trial, like the whole Bush and Clinton families, Bill and Melinda Gates, and of course, all the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, too. We have not reached peak assholes in need of extermination yet. Finally, for the entertainment portion of this edition of the Frostbite Falls Daily Rant, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani are dating. Carrie Underwood cuts a stylish figure in a plunging coral dress. Liam Hemsworth once made Jennifer Lawrence pee her pants. And Angela Jolie revealed her big Brad Pitt moment. And that's all the doom. This time until next time, here on the Doomstead Diner.